Daily Cyber Briefing for Tuesday, the 19th of March. I'm Stephen Ridgway. Came across an interesting article in the Hacker News this morning that talks about a phishing attack, which is using some clever tricks, basically, of Office, Microsoft Office, and is deploying what's being known as the Net Support Rat. So I think Net Support Rat is remote access Trojan is derived from a legitimate piece of software, Net Support Manager, and consequently it does allow attackers, or if you're using the legit version, administrators, to do a great deal of stuff on devices where it is installed. It's an interesting approach to phishing, and things are getting a little bit more sophisticated in this field, I guess. So it starts out with a salary-themed phishing email that appears to come from your accounting department, and urges you to open a salary review, monthly salary report. If you were to then look for the return address and the sender and the return address, it appears to be coming from a legitimate email marketing platform, Brevo, which is a little bit better than dodgy string of characters at recentlycreateddomain.com. If you then do open that particular attachment, it downloads a zip file which contains a Windows shortcut which functions as a PowerShell dropper to retrieve the Net Support Rat binary from a remote server. So basically it is evading at least simple anti-malware solutions by having cascaded tiered links of malware within the one original attachment. It's off the back of growing trend to use cloud platforms and content delivery networks in order to obscure the actual origin of these pieces of malware. It makes an interesting read. So yeah, if you are interested in these things, do have a look. There are potentially some indicators of compromise you might be able to extract from this and stick into your tooling to look for. Otherwise, it's worth being aware of the methods that are being deployed here, because it gives you the opportunity then to look to see whether your particular set of defenses and security visibility would catch this sort of stuff. It appears that over 900 websites have been exposing millions of passwords via Google's Firebase. And Firebase is a cloud database. And at least 900 websites have been misconfigured, leaving credentials and personal information and various other bits of sensitive data inadvertently exposed to the internet. It is at a guesstimate around 125 million user records that have been found to be publicly accessible. And that does include things like billing information and plain text passwords. So if you are using Google's Firebase, do go through the recommended hardening and security configuration on it, because it does look like an awful lot of people have been using it without doing that. It does appear that there are default security rules which will keep you safe. I'm assuming that these things have been turned off because for some reason or another it's broken something, and it was quicker just to switch it off than it was to work out what it was that was broken. So yeah, if you are the administrator of one of these systems, definitely recommend having a look to make sure that you are configuring it properly. And then finally from me today, yeah, I mean, where do we begin? There are still people that don't believe that foreign nation states are engaged in disinformation and generally attempting to manipulate public opinion and so on and so forth. Well, it was an interesting article that I read in the Telegraph yesterday evening, where the Russian news has announced the death of King Charles. In fact, probably even discussing this particular article constitutes treason, but never mind, I'll take my chances. According to Buckingham Palace, the king is perfectly well and will be continuing to fulfill his work duties and attend to his private affairs, regardless of the announcement of his demise on Russian media. It comes off the back of Russian media claiming that there will be an announcement from the palace in the near future, which has been going on for the last few days, and then they just announced the king's dead. Well, to the best of our knowledge, he isn't, but it just goes to show that the Russian propaganda is not adverse to just making all sorts of ridiculous things up. I don't know why they would particularly release this now. I know it comes off the back of lots of questions around the health of various royals, and presumably, actually, I suspect it's just seeing how much interest they can generate with the utterly ridiculous stories in the UK to judge what they may consider to be, to kind of fly under the radar in the way of manipulation as we build up towards a general election later in the year. And if anybody thinks that they aren't interested in, they probably don't care what the outcome is. I doubt it. Well, I mean, you think maybe they who historically would have had a preference for left-wing governments. I'm fairly certain that these days they honestly couldn't care less, so long as they can just cause disruption. Expect more of this sort of stuff as we build up to the election. But in the meantime, be aware that this stuff is going on. Try to avoid getting suckered into believing some of these things, and if you can in any way filter out the crap from your environments, would recommend that you keep on top of these things at least. Anyway, that's enough from me for today. Hope you have a good Tuesday, and I shall speak to you all again tomorrow morning.